Hello, welcome back to another Man Up Time video. I was not a golden age collector until 2009-ish. 2009 was the beginning of me looking at acquiring golden age books. And I set my sight right away on Batman because I has always loved Batman. Okay, so I set my sight on Batman and start to research the prices of Batman 1 to. At the time, I didn't really have a set, like, how many Batman books I want to get. For sure, I knew from the very start that there's no way I'm completing any kind of runs on Batman. But if there's gonna be a mini run, perhaps 1 to 13. I have something about the number 13 because that's my birthday. So I tend to like to have number issue 13. So maybe 1 to 13, that was something in my mind. And for those that collect Golden Age, it's hard to gauge value or pricing on many books because it's not like there's a Batman 3 for sales in a certain grade any given time of the week on eBay or any auction house, right? So for me, it was a little bit, I wouldn't say scary. Scary is not the right word, but unnerving because, I'm such a price conscious collector, regardless if I have money or not. So it was not an easy choices to jump in because it's rare, it's scarce to find these books. At the same time, it's hard to gauge if something is cheap or expensive. Okay, it's very hard, at least for me, even now. Okay, whenever people ask me about the value of Golden Age, I tend to, sure, I refer to GPA, but when you have 1 sales per year or 2 sales per year, sometimes none, it's kind of hard to look at GPA data and say, well, the last sales was 3 years ago, but a recent sales of a higher grade last month was this much, and then you can divide by the points and trying to extrapolate a value. I hate all of that. Okay, to me, that does not work. It only works. Let me take that back. When you're trying to extrapolate value of something by using price per point, it works better when it is a grade closer to the book that was sold. So let's say you have a Batman 1 5.0 that sold recently for this amount, but a 4.5 has not been sold for 5 years. The last time a 4.5 copy was sold was 5 years ago. If a 5.0 sold recently for this amount, I think it's reasonable to extrapolate the value of the 4.5 using what happened with the 5.0. But if you're trying to extrapolate that same value per point to something like a 1.5, that does not work. That is not how this hobby works. For those that understand Golden Age, rare books, and value, you will agree with me, okay? Because once you go down the tier, the lower grade, the price per point jump up significantly. So one of the hardest thing to do was determine value. So once I determined that I'm okay with lower grade, okay, that's the key, lower grade. Okay, for those that watch the previous video on the other Batman book, once I'm okay with the low grade, it was a man up situation for me to go and grab another Batman book because I don't know if this is cheap or expensive, I just gonna have to bite the bullet and buy it because you know it's a classic cover. This book, okay. It was one of the situation where it's Batman 11. I bought this from the CGC forum. It's a beautiful book. It's a 5.0, okay. No doubt. It was a big entry for me because it's my very first golden age early Batman book. Okay, it was a big decision for me. It was not an easy decision, not because it's, you know, huge dollar or anything like that, but for me it was huge dollar for a mid-grade book. I'm not used to that. It was not something that I was ever used to. I have never, okay, I can tell you at this point of my collecting life in 2009, I have never bought a key book or a significant book that was, you know, four figures that is this great. Everything prior to this book, Silver Age keys I bought, you know, was at least 6.5 or higher. So it was huge, very huge for me to make the leap to man up for a mid-grade book. I'm okay with it, even if I think I'm paying too much for a 5.0, okay, because I'm so used to high grade, something like 8.0 higher for so long, that paying big money for a mid-grade 5.0 is seem expensive. But I was okay. It was one of those situations where I said, you know, I'm gonna man up and pay the asking price. This was offered up on the CGC forum. I don't remember making any kind of offer. I think it was listed. I remember it was listed, and then the seller decided to lower the price by a little bit, maybe 5%, something like maybe a day or two later, and I jumped on it. I was not about to wait for another person to jump on the slight discount that the seller was willing to give at the time. So I jumped on it right away and I bought it, and I have it ever since. I have been looking for a raw copy, you know me, to replace this book because I want to own a run of Batman raw, but it's not an easy book to find in raw either. So until that happened, this will stay in the collection. Definitely one of my favorite early Batman. I would say it's my maybe number two. The top three Batman cover as far as early 1 to 11. I think for sure most people would pick this to be in the top three. For sure it is in the top three for me. And that's it. Enough rambling for this man up time video. Yes, I definitely felt I overpaid for this slab when I bought it at the time, way back when. God, it seemed like a decade ago. Yeah, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.